Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been quite some time. I haven't made a video in a while. I know I updated you guys and said I'm pregnant, having a baby, and then I did not come back. If you want to know anything about like the birth, how everything went, I did do a birth vlog. I had introduced her on my other channel, so if you do want to see that, you can go over to my other channel and check out some videos I made on pregnancy and birth and all of the madness that was. But today what I really want to talk about is creating a baby fund and the importance of it and why you need one right this second. I tell you, you need one. If you don't think you do, I guarantee that you will appreciate one. A baby fund is basically an emergency fund for your baby. You could think of it that way, or a savings fund for your baby. I've never heard anyone speak about this, but it's something I started doing a couple of years ago, like loosely doing it. I was just like, do you know what? We want to have a baby in this many years. We should just start saving up some money just in case we have a baby, you know? Not just in case we have a baby, but for when we have a baby. Why not just save for it in advance when we know it's coming? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, what's the point of just like deciding to have a baby and then being like, oh my god, I have to buy all these things, how am I gonna afford it, when you can actually save in advance for it like I do for Christmas and for birthdays and for holidays and pretty much everything else I save for. I created a sinking fund. A sinking fund is basically somewhere that you put money every month in advance for a big bill that's coming later on, or something that you're saving towards. So I created a sinking fund that was called the baby fund, and I started like putting money into it, not thinking that I would have a baby anytime soon, mind you. So there was that. It got to the point where I'd saved like a few £100, and I was like, oh, I think I saved about £500, and I was like, I should just put this in the S&P 500 because we got like 5 years for it to grow. So, you know, that's a good amount of time to write out any bumps. So like chuck in this S&P 500 and it will grow. By the time that, you know, we want to have a baby, we'll have like this nice amount of money that would have better returns than in like a general savings account, and we can use that towards a baby. So about a few months after we decided to put it in the S&P 500, I found out I was pregnant. It was a shocker, and I'm so happy I decided to start that so early and decided that I was going to save for this and that we were going to save for it as a family, knowing in the future we would have a baby. And it made the hugest difference. Even though we didn't end up saving, like we saved quite a good amount, we haven't made a dent really into it. I recommend you do it, and here's how to just start. So decide how long you want your baby to have this amount of money for. Like, how long do you want to be able to use this money for, and then calculate basically how much money you're gonna need. So I did a rough calculation. I read a bunch of articles on how much it costs to raise a baby for the first year, because I wanted to be able to have enough that we could raise our baby for the first year and it wouldn't change our expenses, it wouldn't cut into our own finances, and so our finances, our expenses wouldn't increase when we had a baby. This was before the cost of living crisis. This was before the economy started crashing. This was before all of the madness, right? So now in this moment, as I sit here and the pound was falling and the stock market is falling, housing the housing market is going haywire, mortgages are at their highest, all of those things, right in this moment as I sit here and I'm on maternity leave, I can't imagine what I would have done if we did not have this money. Like, I can't imagine what we would have done. So we've moved to the northwest of England as well. So we tried to bring our expenses down, which we really kind of didn't. Moving here, it was cheaper but more expensive in some ways. But having this fund meant that we now don't have to buy anything out of pocket for our baby. We can if we want to, but we don't need to because we have money towards it. So a way you can start saving for this is either just setting aside a little bit each month just into this fund. So we did it thinking we were going to have a few years. We put it in the stock market thinking, you know, it's going to grow like what, 7% against inflation year on year for the next 5 years, and it grew. I think when I withdrew it from our stocks and shares ISA, it was at 13% on growth, And I was just like, I'll take it. So I thought, oh, I could leave it a bit later, but as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was like, do you know what, let me see how much it's at. Has it grown? If it's not a loss, let's take it if there's enough of growth. And there was enough growth. It was 13%, and I was like, that's great. Let's take this out. I'm not keeping it in here anymore, trying to, you know, play the market. I'm just like, we've made some money. It's better than a savings account would have ever given us. Let's take it out. So seriously, like, if you have time, consider investing in the stock market. But as you've seen, if you currently invest, you know that things are not always predictable. Sometimes things can happen in the market. They're very drastic, and you might be down 10% or you might be up 15-20%. It's unpredictable, so you need to account for how long it's going to be in your stocks and shares ISA, or wherever you decide to invest it, or a general investing account. So that is one option. Another option is to just have a savings fund. So you can have maybe a locked savers, so that will give you a certain amount of interest every year for a short amount of time, and that can be good if you know that you want to have a baby in like maybe 2 years, so you could do a 2-year locked, or you're not sure if you're gonna be having a baby in like a year or 2, and then that way, if it's only 1 year or 2 years locked, like by the time, if you find out you're pregnant, you probably find out about a month later. So 9 months until the baby actually comes out, because you're pregnant for like 10 months. So that's still close if you're doing a 1 year fixed, that you maybe after the baby's a couple of months old, that money will be unlocked and you've made a little bit of interest on it and you can take it out. So that's something to think about as well. And back to how much to save. I just digressed there. I looked at a bunch of different articles on how much it cost, and I kind of just did a rough calculation to say that if you want to give your baby the best of the best life, you're not accounting for getting any gifts, which I was in my head not accounting for, which didn't make sense, but I still did it because just in case, you just never know. So I was like, accounting for no gifts, we're gonna do this on our own, we're gonna do it like not the nicest, like you're not getting your kid Gucci shoes when they can't walk, or Gucci shoes when they can walk, but you are getting them everything they need and more, you know, enough, more than enough. And I calculated that would be about £5,000 in the first year, including like nappies and if you need formula, things like that, which I plan to breastfeed, but who knows? I didn't know if I was going to be able to, which I could, thank God. Save so much money. It's really money efficient, thank you. So I calculated about £5,000, and in my head I was like, we're gonna save £1,000 a year for 5 years. So if you do the calculation, and you could just take that calculation and be like, okay, £5,000, I'll save that. Honestly, it's gonna be more than enough. We still have a really big chunk of change saved for her, that when we have huge expenses like her diapers and stuff, we don't take that money out, which is what initially I kind of kept it for, like diapers or nappies, sorry, my husband's Canadian, nappies and anything she needs regularly, wipes, all those things. Most of the things we spend money on are nappies and wipes at the moment. Like clothes, we bought most of those before she was born. We have so many clothes. And we got gifted a lot of clothes as well, so we have a lot of clothes for her. I still once in a while would buy an outfit or two, because we didn't buy many like cute outfits. We just bought a lot of practical clothes, which is nice because it means I can still get a couple of pieces that are quite nice and not worry about how much I'm spending on that. When they're really this young, you don't need a lot for them. So we initially created that fund for those small expenses, but it turned out that we just kind of took that out of our own expenses, and we've like been saving that money for bigger things. So we realized that our baby loved to our baby loved to stand. She loves standing. Like, you put her on your legs and she loves standing so much. And I said to my husband, we should get her a jumperoo, because I saw another person who I follow had a jumperoo, and I saw that kids loved it. I was like, she's probably not tall enough for a jumperoo, but we can put a cushion underneath her like they did. I was like, this would be great. She will love this. My husband's like, we don't need that. She doesn't need that. Let's just get her a box. You know, we make this joke that we're just gonna give her a box, because honestly, kids, they really don't play with a lot of the toys you get them. She doesn't have many toys, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get for her, because we've made it a point to not buy unnecessary toys. Like, she has like 2 little things, like a butterfly and a zebra that she loves to play with, and a chewy lion. Literally, that's all the toys she interacts with, and she's currently 4 months old. So I was like, let's get this jumperoo because she loves jumping. and it cost £75. And my husband was like, do we need it? I was like, no, we don't need it, but she loves to stand, and I think she's gonna love standing in this. Like, she's gonna love it, and it's good for her development. So I was like, he was like, okay, cool, you think she wants it, you think it's gonna be great, let's get it. We got it. She loves that thing. She loves that thing. It gets so much use. It's something we can put her in safely, and like, I can go to the kitchen quickly and go back to the living room. It's just nice to have it. But my point is, this fund made sure that we can get these things as they come around. So we've saved it for like bigger purchases. £75 isn't a huge purchase, but when you're in a cost of living crisis, £75 seems like a huge purchase when you're thinking about the cost of energy, the cost of food, the cost of transport. Oh my God, it's so expensive, guys. So now that everything is getting so expensive, it's so great that we have this money set aside for her. And so I implore you to start a baby fund. If you're planning to have a baby, or if you're pregnant now, you can still save towards it. Because as I said, we had a little bit saved up, and then I realized I was pregnant, and I was like, well, I gotta start ramping this up. And mind you, I only had a few months before I stopped working, because I worked in film and I couldn't be on set and be pregnant. It wasn't safe, and I couldn't fit into most of my clothes, and I need to have a pretty big wardrobe to do what I did. So I had like a few months to go like balls to the walls and just save so much. And so I just worked and worked and worked and worked and did as much work as I could, so I could add to this fund and to add to my maternity fund, which I will be talking about in my next video about saving for maternity leave, which is a whole different beast. It's a whole different beast. If you are self-employed, you need to like watch this video, and you need to save for maternity, because when I tell you a maternity allowance is not a lot of money, so there is no way you can survive on it. If you still want to contribute to your household, or you need to contribute to your household, you need to have a plan. So I'm gonna go into that in the next video. But baby funds, save up for it, make a goal, stick to the goal. Okay, save up a little bit at a time. If you want to save for the long run, invest in the stock market. If you want to save for the short term, put it in a savings account. If it's a mid-short term, so like a couple of years, you can put it in a locked savings account. If not, if the rate isn't that great, it's not worth it, honestly, to even bother doing that. So put it in just put it in a savings account that is in your account, or maybe somewhere like Monzo, where there are pots that has no interest, but at least it's out of the way, and you can just send money there periodically and set it up so that every month when you're paid, a certain percentage goes towards the baby fund, and it's out of sight, out of mind, until you've got this nice big pot that you can take big expenses from. One of the things is that as people have like gifted, our parents have gifted money to our baby and stuff, we've put it into her baby fund. So like that money just goes into her fund, which is for these big purchases, or these things that she might want, or things that we might want for her that we might not necessarily have got for her if things were tight, or if we just didn't think she needed it, but now we have like that option. So if you do get gifts, another way you can save up that baby fund is to put the money that is gifted into that savings account for your baby. It's been a lifesaver, so I do definitely recommend it if you have the opportunity. And I know things are really tight right now with everything that's going on, just the way that expenses have doubled, tripled, quadrupled for a lot of people. It's really difficult, but even if you could put away even 10, 20, 30 pounds is gonna make a difference, because when you're looking at buying nappies like later on, those 10, 20, 30 pounds is something that could have gone towards that. And if you want to do it another way, you don't want to save up money and you're just thinking, I can't even fathom putting money away because I need it now, maybe just adding a couple of items to your weekly shop before the baby arrives can help as well. Something we started doing, we started buying nappies when I was like 3 or 4 months pregnant, even though the baby's not coming out for another 5 months, you know, 5, 6 months, but we knew that she was gonna come. The baby was coming. So every time we went shopping, we just buy a couple of like baby essentials, like nappy bags, nappies, wipes, and we just built a stash over time without it actually making a big dent into our costs. So that's another tip. If you can't afford to do a baby fund, maybe just add a couple of nappies to your shop every week. It's just something that will really help down the line. That is all for today. I just wanted to talk about baby fund because it's something that really helped us, and it's something that I really appreciate having. It's something that I'm so happy that it just came into my mind, and I got into this savings kick thing like a couple of years before I decided to have a baby. So definitely, if you can, try and set some money aside for a baby, because it will help so much later on down the line. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, because it does help the channel. My next video will be about maternity funds and how to save for your maternity leave, especially if you're self-employed and don't have maternity pay. That is all for today. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.